Hey everybody, this is Brandon Williams. I am here today with Erin Price. Erin Price runs a really cool company called Go-To-Market. It is a early stage startup company. They have some AI that they're working with as well, doing some really cool things. They help you with commercialization. She does some coaching and she helps with resume writing. I'm going to let Erin take it over and let her tell us all about her business and what she does.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Thanks for having me. So let's start with just a little bit of history. So I've been in the corporate realm for about 25 years. I decided last June to step away. I'd worked in many startups, mostly in the healthcare sector, and most recently worked for a division of Microsoft where I led channel partners and also two different sales teams. And through that process, I just really started feeling pulled away from the corporate bureaucracy, politics, if you will, and really just decided to step out on my own and help companies that are in the early stage or, I would say Series A, Series B in the healthcare sector start commercializing here in the US. Through kind of my work in the past, I realized that there's just a lot of differences in global markets versus US. And so being that my husband and I have started two businesses personally, and then I've been in the startup realm in the healthcare sector, I decided to take a step of faith and leap out on my own. And so that's where I'm at. So what do I do? What can I help you with? And, those out there. So it's not dependent to healthcare, I would say, but mostly what we do is I go into companies, I look at their commercial strategy, their plan, what's working, what's not. We do kind of a SWOT analysis of the business. Most of my clients today are global companies trying to commercialize here in the US. And they really just struggle on the ecosystem here in the US versus where they are, whether it be Israel, Australia, France, etc. But my strength is really taking that puzzle piece and unpacking it and understanding what's working for your business, what's not working. I do a lot of strategy work, really unpacking their strategic modeling, whether it be, how their go-to-market as far as their sales strategy, market strategy. I've lived in a couple different areas: product management, marketing, sales, and also training and education. So I bring all of that. I do have a couple people on my team. I have a host of different advisors and different specialties in the healthcare sector as well as the business sector. So, for local businesses, if you're starting and you're just like, gosh, I don't even know where to start, how do I put a marketing plan together? How do I put a sales team together? Organizational structure, what does that need to look like? That's what our team does. So I wouldn't say it's limited just to healthcare. That's obviously been kind of my specialty over the last 25 years. But a business is a business. My husband and I have started and sold a baseball facility. We also had a staffing company for 10 years. So he'll be joining my team here shortly as well. And we also have different companies that we represent. For example, we are picking up a line of products that will help companies manage like their EBITDA. It kind of gives an overview of what your company structure looks like. Are you making money? Are you losing money? It'll be great for like dental offices, any type of physician practices or B2B businesses where they want to know like, hey, am I getting the referrals I need in the door? What's the productivity of my team? Are they doing what they say they're doing? And it's not a micromanagement tool, but it's from a CEO perspective and running your business. It really allows you to have a landscape view of this is what's working and these are my areas of growth, right? So those are kind of the areas that we focus in. I have a passion for career coaching. I remember leaving college and thinking like, what the crap am I going to do with my life? Right. And I'm at 46 years old and I still am wondering, what am I going to do with my life? So, yeah, so part of what we do, I do have another like vertical within my business that I have, so coaching business where I help mostly like young adults, like where do I go? What do I want to do? What are the strengths? What do I enjoy? I wish I would have had a mentor in my early 20s saying, Erin, here's your strengths, here's what you enjoy doing. And I feel like it's a huge gap that we have in society in general, right? You don't leave high school knowing what am I going to do? What do I love and what do I enjoy? Or you only go after careers that your family ecosystem has been involved in, right? Like what your family. And so that sector of my business is growing. I'll be launching a platform for that here really soon. But that's going to just be, hey, 6-month program where you can sign up. We do sessions each week on really just unpacking your strengths, doing some analysis on personality profiling, but then also setting you up for success with internships and mentors in the field that you want to be in, right?
Very
So
cool.
like I'll give you an example. I had a student come to me that has always wanted to be a nurse. And she was like, you know what? I don't want to be a nurse anymore. I was like, why? She was like, well, because I'm going to have to work like all day, every day and be on call. And I was like, that's not true. There's so many opportunities in the nursing space that you can work 2 days a week, 3 days a week and be a travel nurse. So really just helping young adults and even people that are in transition in their career, right? I've done this for 20 years, but I want to pivot to this.
Right.
So I feel like, I was a prior athlete. I like teams, I like coaching. And so that's really a strength of mine is how do we unpack your purpose and where God wants you to be, but also like, what do you enjoy, right? So you don't spend 30, 40 years in a career that you absolutely hate. Because as you and I can speak, you look back and the time's gone. You can't replace it, right?
Yeah.
So that's another kind of segment of my business that I'm really kind of pivoting into. But anything that a company has, whether they're local, whether they're looking to expand globally, any commercialization, market segmentation, even if it's setting up like your organizational structure and your training plans for your company, what does that need to look like? Onboarding of these people, what does that need to look like? Our team can do all of that. So we're pretty diverse in our backgrounds. Most of us come to the table with north of 20 years of business experience,
Oh,
and we really just want to help people be successful.
yeah, that's fantastic. And I applaud you for leaving corporate America. I did the same thing. I became self-employed in 2006. The market crashed in '08. I unfortunately had to go back to work for corporate America. I was miserable. I traveled all over the country. Some people would think that was fantastic. I was gone 50 weeks out of the year. And if I didn't have a reason not to be on the road, um, I was chastised for it. I remember when my daughter was being born, her mom went into preterm labor 3 times and I had to stay home. And my boss was, well, how many more times are you going to do this? And I said,
Yep.
as many times as it takes for her to get delivered. And if you want to fire me, go ahead.
Amen.
I was like,
Yeah. Amen.
I'm not going to miss the birth of my child. I'm sorry.
That's good.
He was a Marine, and he wasn't there for any of his, and he just expected you to do the same thing. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. So I ended up leaving. I went back into real estate. So I'm back. I'm
No,
self-employed now, and
cahoots to you.
I don't foresee me going back to work for someone. I definitely like being self-employed, and I can appreciate the coaching aspect that you like to do. I like to coach people as well. I've helped a lot of people with their careers in the past. I've never set up a coaching program necessarily, but I went on to
Yeah.
get higher education, and uh, so I would be able to help people as well. I know, just an example, when I worked for a company in McDonough, Georgia, there was a
Hmm.
lady that actually trained me as a customer service representative, and I went on to become her boss. And I was leaving the company, and she was terrified. She did not want the position. She didn't think she had the capabilities, and I saw that in her and ended up training her. I stayed on with the company as a consultant for a month after I actually physically left the building, just to make sure
Hmm.
she had the support that
Right.
needed. And she went on, and I talked to her. It had been 10 or 12 years since I'd spoken with her, and she was still manager. She had gotten promoted again. She was thankful. And I just
Yeah.
saw that in her. I do have a question for you. When you do the profiles, are you using disc profiles or any of those online mechanisms to determine people's personality types?
Yeah, we have a couple we use. I'm a big Enneagram person, so I love to look at the Enneagrams. I do have a disc and then I have Strength Finder. So depending on kind of where they want to navigate, I'll choose different profiles based on that.
Sure.
So because I don't think it's a one size fits all, and I think that's what corporate really does
Hmm.
struggle with is, I've been in many of interviews and I'm answering these questions and I'm like, this is so ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we focus so much on what we can't do instead of what we can do really well.
Right.
And so DISC is really good for that, right? But Enneagram really pulls that out. And again, I don't think it's a one size fits all, but I think understanding and knowing what motivates you internally, that's really going to, I would say catapult your career. And
Sure.
again, I wish I would have had it younger. My passion, if I could like choose a job, would go and work with student athletes in college because I only hire athletes. Like, I know that sounds bad, plug your ears, but they have tenacity and work ethic, right?
Yeah.
They know what it takes. They have team camaraderie. And as I coach companies, I tell them to look for those similar profiles. And, and it's kind of, I've hired so many over the last years. There's things that I look at that I don't hire for, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people, I tell kids, go get a degree. Don't worry about where the degree's from.
Right.
Honestly, I've worked at Medtronic, Microsoft, Covidien, some of the largest companies in the world. And quite frankly, it comes down to EQ and IQ. If you've got good work ethic and good EQ, you can go and do what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So don't think that you have to have Notre Dame or Harvard or any of that stuff on a piece of paper. And this may not be the popular answer, but I'm a challenge the status quo girl. And it's facts, right? And there's
It
sometimes
is.
that I'll look and I'll be like, oh, Ivy League probably has no common sense. Let's move on, right?
It's
So
funny. It's funny you bring that up. I literally just had this conversation yesterday, and I've had it multiple times. And we were talking about um, grade levels in school, and the straight A students, and the 4.0s of valedictorians. Sure, that's a huge achievement, and I'm not discrediting that at all.
yeah,
But when you get out into the real world, just full disclosure, I got my GED. I didn't complete high school. I got my
right.
GED. I decided to go to college as an adult. I went into the working world. I got I hold several degrees. I had several certificates in IT because I thought I was going into networking. Then I got my business admin. I went on to get a BS in accounting, and now I hold 2 master's degrees. It doesn't matter. And I went to online school, and I can go
Yeah,
get a job anywhere I want if I really wanted to go back to work. So it doesn't matter. And as far as what you were saying is well-rounded, that is definitely something when I was in corporate America, that when they were going through the hiring structure, that's what they look for. They look for the people that were athletes, or they were part of sororities or fraternities. They had some
right.
type of community service that they could bring in, something that showed that they had leadership skills and they could actually bring value to the table and work with others, as opposed to just, oh, I know how to recite an encyclopedia or whatever the case may be.
100%.
So
Yeah,
definitely get yourself involved in more things than just focusing on 100% straight A's. And I'm going to be controversial there as well, because you do need education. I
100%.
value education over anything, but you definitely want to make sure that you have those social skills to be able, and that adaptability
100%.
and coachability, to be able
Yeah,
to ensure that you can work with people. And even when you're self-employed, you still have to do the same thing. Actually, even more
100%.
so, I would say. You have to
Yeah,
adapt to different people's personalities, because you never know who you're going to work with, especially in my industry, and I'm sure yours as well. You don't know the personality types that you're going to be dealing with,
right.
and you just end up having to navigate through that. And sometimes you win, sometimes you fail.
100%. You live, you learn, right?
Exactly. Well, Erin, do you have anything else for us?
No, I think that's it. Like I said, if you are starting a business or even trying to navigate your way, it doesn't have to be in healthcare, and you just need some guidance. So we work on a project base or a retainer base typically, and I'm happy to help, local, global, whatever it looks like. And then if you're in need, I just coached some guys through resume writing, redid their resumes. I do like 3 different versions. The
Oh, wow.
resumes out there today are like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs is what I say. So like you've got a portfolio picture on there, your
Oh,
glamour
wow.
shot. So yeah. So, but I do use some different tools that I've have access to for resume writing. We go through again because sometimes it's not what you've been in for 20 years, what you love, right? Like I've been in
Sure.
sales for a long time. I'm really good at it, but I don't love it, right? So sometimes it's just unpacking those things that are deep down within you to really navigate what is going to fulfill you for the next 20. And so
Sure.
really even tailoring your resume towards that, right? So yeah, so reach out anytime. Would love to help anyone. And no, this has been great. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, go ahead and plug your business, your contact information, whatever phone number, email address you want people to use, and I'll make sure it's in the post, and hopefully we'll get some people contacting you.
Sure. Awesome. So yeah, so Erin Price, my cell phone is 678-576-1211. You can text me or call me. My website is www.go2market-ai.com. And then my email is erinprice at go2market-ai.com. And so for those wondering the AI, I was in device, transitioned into software. I do a lot of AI work with AI companies. So if you have questions about AI, you want to know what it's all about, I'm here to answer those questions as well.
Okay, well, very cool. I'll get this posted and we'll have all your information down there. And if you would like and share it as well, and hopefully we'll
Awesome.
get some people contacting you. You can help some people succeed.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thanks for the opportunity,
Thank
Brandon.
you.
Talk soon. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Bye-bye.